So let's move to Unreal. This is Brown Sauce. I am currently working on replacing the Mabinogi engine. I wrote this because I wanted to tell Militians about background modeling among the work I did. I hope this article will be of some help to those who are curious about the engine replacement process. For nearly 20 years, Mabinogi has taken deep roots in Pleon. Therefore, it was obvious that the moving task was not as easy as transplanting a young tree. Of course, ultimately, most of the buildings and objects you can see in Unreal Engine will be newly built to be pretty and colorful, but for that work, you need a rough sketch. Because creating numerous new sketches is a huge cost itself, we had to find a way to replicate Aaron from Pleon and use it as a sketch at a lower cost. The first thing I was worried about when planning to transfer Mabinogi as is the question, can Pleon's specific world data files and modeling be used directly in Unreal Engine? And sadly, of course, that wasn't possible because it was Pleon only. In this situation, 3 ideas came to mind. The first idea was to modify the Unreal Engine code to read Pleon-specific files. However, if you modify the engine code like this every time you upgrade the engine version, there's a possibility that your modified code will conflict with the updated code. Then you must continue to fix the conflicting code. And because the cost of work is higher compared to other ideas, I didn't think it was the best way to create a rough sketch. The second idea was to modify the Pleon-specific files so that Unreal Engine could read them, but there's a problem with this method too. When creating objects in Mabinogi, modeling work is done using commercial programs. Afterwards, we convert it using a program we developed ourselves so that the Pleon engine can read it. Unnecessary data is deleted and some necessary data is calculated in advance for optimization. However, among the data erased at this time, there were values needed by Unreal Engine. Although it is possible to construct a 3D model with the remaining data, except for the removed data, this method was not the best, as it was noticeably different from the original. This file was modified so that Unreal Engine could read it, but the goddess statue looks angular due to the lack of smoothing. The third idea was to move the original modeling data into Unreal Engine before converting it into a dedicated file. Unreal Engine can easily and simply read files created with commercial 3D modeling programs. Therefore, as long as you have the original before conversion, I thought I could upload it to the Unreal in a form similar to Pleon. The first attempt to upload raw data to the Unreal was successful. The original data was output from a commercial 3D modeling model as a file that Unreal could read. When I imported this to Unreal, it looked much better than I imagined. However, this method was not perfect either. This is because traces of Pleon still remained. When working with a 3D model of a Mabinogi object, in addition to configuring the object's shape, data for interaction within the game is also added. However, this data was not needed in the sketch. Rather, the shape of the sketch looked different due to this data, so I had to find a way to erase this unnecessary and disruptive data. To transfer the original modeling data to Unreal, read a file in a 3D modeling program, and then it must be output as a file that Unreal can read. The problem is that even though this process is short and simple, the number of files is too large. The problem is that it takes too much time for a person to do all these files one by one. Considering the physical time, automation was essential. The 3D modeling program used by Mabinogi has a script language that supports automation. If the user scripts the tasks or actions he or she wants to do with the modeling program in advance, you can repeat that task over and over with the click of a button. Use this script to do the printing work that had to be done for each file one by one, while automating the program to do the work for you. I also deleted unnecessary data from the sketch that I was concerned about earlier. Also, the texture of the original modeling data must be converted into pixel format so it can be read by Unreal Engine. This processing was also programmed to be done in the script. In order to use the transferred 3D model as a sketch, you must place it in Aaron created with Unreal. However, Unreal Engine cannot read Pleon's specific world data files, so I had to check the location, direction, and size in Pleon one by one. There were a lot more pieces and more work involved than the previous work, and because it had to be processed using Unreal Engine, I couldn't even write a script for a 3D modeling program. While I was thinking about it, I thought of an idea. If it is possible to extract object type, location, direction, and size from a dedicated world data file, couldn't we use it for placement in Unreal? When constructing Pleon's Aaron world, Mabinogi uses its own world creation program. 3D model data created with a commercial program is imported into the world creation program and placed. Afterwards, the batch status is finally converted into a world data file. The self-developed program was familiar to me, and the inside data file was. So I was able to modify the program to extract the data needed for deployment from the world data file. Now all that's left is to have Unreal Engine read the extracted data and automatically place the 3D model. This issue was addressed by adding a feature to the engine. Because the automatic placement function was implemented with functions that already exist in Unreal Engine, it was relatively less expensive than an engine modification, and the risk of code conflicts was low. Dumbarton transferred to Unreal Engine to use as a sketch. Through these processes, my work on automating sketch production was completed. Currently, background modelers are working hard to create a new Aaron based on the sketch. My eyes are purified as I look at Aaron being reborn in high quality. Although my work does not create a finished product, I feel great joy and pride because I am helping Aaron in her process of rebirth. There's a lot of work ahead before Mabinogi can fully move to Unreal. There are many technical problems that need to be solved. It may not be an easy road, but for the day, we invite all Militians to the new Mabinogi. We will move forward steadily and diligently.